When you know your worth, you become a force to be reckoned with. It's not about arrogance, it's about self respect. If you don't believe in your own value, how can you expect anyone else to? We live in a world where people are quick to test our boundaries and in some cases play games with us. But the truth is, when you know who you are and what you bring to the table, those games lose their power. You don't chase after anyone because you understand that you're worthy of being pursued. The key is to never compromise on your standards. If someone truly respects you, they will make the effort. If they don't, they'll fall away, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, you have to be your own biggest advocate. It's about showing up every single day and proving to yourself that you're not here to play by anyone else's rules but your own. And when you consistently show that you are not desperate for approval or validation, you become magnetic. Think about the times you've tolerated less than you deserved, hoping things would change. Maybe you've ignored red flags, given second chances, or waited for someone to show you they care. But deep down, you knew you were worth more than that. It's time to stop waiting around for people to recognize your value and start showing them that you recognize it yourself. That's the game changer. When people see that you don't settle for less, they start to respect you more, not because of what you do for them, but because of how you value yourself. Now, this doesn't mean you're cold or distant. It means that you have enough self-awareness to know what you deserve and what you won't tolerate. When you consistently show up for yourself, when you stay true to your principles, you create a standard that others must meet. You don't have to beg, plead, or jump through hoops. You simply need to be who you are unapologetically and let the rest follow. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of someone showing interest, especially when that attention feels validating. But when you start recognizing your own worth first, you realize that their interest isn't enough. You're not just waiting for someone to notice you, you're already confident in the fact that you're worthy of real love, respect, and commitment. And when someone sees that self-assurance, it either inspires them to rise to the occasion or they'll fade into the background. Either way, it's a win because the right people will always meet you where you are. So how do you handle the games? You don't. You simply choose not to play. You don't bend your values to meet someone else's needs. You stand firm in the knowledge that you are more than enough just as you are. And when you do that, you'll notice something magical happen. People, especially those who once played games, will begin to take you seriously. They'll either adjust their behavior or step aside. In either way, you've won. Remember, the moment you start truly believing in your own worth is the moment the world around you begins to respect you differently. So carry that confidence in your heart every day, because the more you value yourself, the more the world will follow suit. And that's the kind of energy that makes people take notice and come running. Setting boundaries isn't just a nice thing to do, it's essential for maintaining your self-respect and peace of mind. In a world where people often try to push limits, having clear boundaries is like creating a personal fortress around your well-being. The truth is, when you don't define what you will and won't accept, you leave room for others to treat you however they want. But when you're firm about your boundaries, you communicate a powerful message without even having to say a word. I know what I deserve and I won't settle for less. In relationships, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, boundaries are a vital part of respect. The key here is to remember that your boundaries aren't meant to control others. They're meant to protect you. It's easy to feel guilty when you set limits because we often associate caring for others with sacrificing our own needs. But the reality is, setting boundaries doesn't make you selfish, it makes you healthy. It's about preserving your mental, emotional, and physical space so that you can show up as the best version of yourself, not a version. When you understand what makes you feel comfortable and what makes you feel uncomfortable, you can communicate those needs clearly. It's not about being harsh or rigid. It's about knowing your worth and ensuring that others respect that. And here's something important. You don't have to justify your boundaries. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you need something, whether it's time, space, or emotional. And you set them because they're necessary for your well-being, and that's all the reason you need. Think about the moments when you've allowed someone to overstep your boundaries. Maybe they called too often, demanded too much of your time, or expected you to tolerate behavior that didn't feel right. In those moments, you might have feared confrontation or worried about upsetting them. But each time you let someone cross your line, you diminish your own sense of self-respect. It's as if you're telling them that their comfort is more important than your own. But when you start setting clear, non-negotiable boundaries, you demonstrate that your comfort and peace of mind come first. And let's be honest, setting boundaries will test people. Some will push back, some will get upset, and some may even try to make you feel guilty. But that's a clear sign that they don't respect your limits. And that's a red flag. People who truly care for you and respect you will understand when you need space or when you say no. They'll appreciate the fact that you're taking care of yourself because they'll understand that when you take care of yourself, you're in a better position to show up for them too. There's a freedom that comes with setting boundaries that many people don't realize until they experience it. It's the freedom to say no without feeling like you have to explain why. It's the freedom to focus on your own priorities without the constant pull of someone else's demands. It's the freedom to protect your peace, your time, and your emotional energy. And when you're able to do that, you attract people who respect that freedom, who understand that you have your own life and are worthy of respect. Now here's the, some people may try to manipulate or guilt trip you into bending them, but this is where you have to stay strong. It's tempting to give in, especially when someone you care about challenges your limits. But you must remember, if someone truly respects you, they will understand your need for boundaries, even if it's uncomfortable at first. The moment you give in to pressure, you're telling them that your boundaries don't really matter. That's when people start playing games, testing limits, and treating you in ways that you don't deserve. But when you stay firm, even in the face of pushback, something powerful happens. People begin to understand that you're not to be played with. They realize that you've built a foundation of self-respect. And that's not something you're willing to compromise on. It's a lesson they'll either learn quickly or lose out on you entirely. And when they see you standing firm, not wavering in your values and principles, they'll respect you more. Even if they don't agree with everything you say or do, they'll recognize that you're a person who's clear about what they want and need. And that's a rare quality. Setting boundaries isn't about controlling others. It's about ensuring that you're creating a space where you can thrive. The people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries because they'll understand that it's not about rejecting them, it's about protecting yourself. And when you protect yourself in this way, you show others how to treat you with the same respect. You teach them that love and care don't come at the expense of your own peace. And that in itself makes you far more attractive, not just to the right people, but to yourself as well. So the next time you feel someone crossing a line, remember that you have every right to set a boundary. Don't apologize for it. Don't back down. Stand firm in your self-worth and let the world see that you're someone who knows exactly what you deserve. And watch how the right people will start respecting you in ways you never thought possible. When it comes to relationships, one of the most powerful things you can do is stop chasing. Society often makes us believe that love is something you need to constantly work for, that you have to chase someone's affection to prove that you're worthy of it. But the truth is, the more you chase, the more you push people away. Think about it. When you pursue someone with desperation, it creates an imbalance. It positions you in a way that suggests they are more valuable than you, that their attention is something you must earn. It hurts worse to fail than hope that you could earn the love of the people who you so earnestly. But when you stop chasing, you flip the script. You take control of the situation because you recognize that you are enough just as you are. Attracting the right people doesn't require you to chase them down or fight for their attention. It requires you to be your most authentic self, to live your life fully and confidently. When you do this, you naturally draw people towards you, not because you're trying to impress them, but because you're showing up as someone who has a life of their own. This sense of self-sufficiency is magnetic. It signals that you're not dependent on anyone else for your happiness, and that alone is incredibly attractive. Think about the relationships where you felt like you were doing all the work, the ones where you were always the one initiating contact, making plans, or trying to keep the spark alive. How did that make you feel? Probably drained, unappreciated, and undervalued. That's because you were chasing. You were putting more energy into something than the other person was willing to invest. And while it's natural to want to connect and bond with others, when you constantly chase after someone, you put them on a pedestal and forget that relationships should be built on mutual effort and respect. If you're the only one working to maintain the connection, that's a clear sign that it's time to reevaluate. When you stop chasing, you let go of the need for external validation, you stop seeking approval, and instead, you focus on creating your own joy. Whether it's pursuing your passions, building your career, or cultivating your friendships, your life becomes so rich that people are drawn to you simply because of the energy you radiate. You're not constantly looking for someone to complete you, you're already complete. And that makes you more appealing than ever. This isn't about playing games or being hard to get. It's about taking the pressure off. When you're not desperate for someone's attention, you allow space for genuine connection. You stop forcing things and instead let them unfold naturally. When you live with the mindset that you're already whole, relationships stop feeling like something you need to win or earn. They become something you choose freely and without fear. And when you approach relationships from this standpoint, it's easier to see who's truly invested and who's just along for the ride. The right people will show up when they see that you are confident in who you are and aren't relying on them for your worth. We all have our moments of doubt, where we wonder if we're enough or if we're doing something wrong. But it's important to remind yourself that your worth isn't tied to someone else's attention or affection. The more you focus on your own growth, the more attractive you become. Not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you're content in your own skin. And when people see that, they begin to realize that they're not the ones doing you a favor by being in your life. You're doing them a favor by choosing to share your energy with them. By not chasing, you also create a healthy space where both parties can come to the relationship with intention. You allow them to step up and show their commitment, which is key to building something real. Relationships are a two-way street, and when you stop doing all the work, you let the other person contribute, which naturally leads to a deeper, more authentic connection. It's not about playing hard to get, it's about making sure that any relationship you enter into is built on a foundation of mutual respect, effort, and appreciation. When you stop chasing, you also stop tolerating behavior that doesn't align with your worth. People who want to be in your life will make the effort, just as you will make the effort for them. If someone isn't putting in the work, then it's their loss. This mindset not only protects you from being undervalued, but it also frees you from the stress and anxiety that often comes with chasing after something or someone that isn't meant for you. So remember this, when you stop chasing, you allow the right people to come to you. You attract those who see you for who you truly are and who value you just as much as you value yourself. And that's when you know you're creating something real, something worth your time and energy. Because the truth is, the moment you stop chasing, you stop forcing. And that's when you truly begin to attract the right things into your life. Self-love is often misunderstood. People sometimes think it's about being selfish or putting yourself above others, but it's the exact opposite. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of respect, care, and happiness just as much as anyone else. It's about understanding that you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to fill yourself up first before you can give anything of value to others. When you invest in yourself, whether it's through nurturing your mind, body, or soul, you not only become more confident, but you also set the standard for how others should treat you. Too often, we seek validation and approval from outside sources, family, friends, romantic partners, social media. We base our worth on how others see us, how much love they give us, or how much they approve of our actions. But here's the thing. Your worth isn't determined by anyone else. It's defined by you and only you. When you start to love yourself unconditionally, you stop measuring your value based on external factors. You learn to appreciate who you are at your core, flaws and all. When you take the time to nurture your best self, not only to others but to yourself, you realize that you deserve the best not because of what you do for others or how much you give, but simply because you exist. You don't have to earn love, affection, or kindness. They are your birthright. When you start living with this understanding, the way you move through life shifts. You become more confident in your decisions, more comfortable with who you are, and more clear about what you want and need. Self-love also means setting boundaries and not allowing others to disrespect you. It means choosing your happiness, even if it means walking away from situations or people who aren't contributing positively to your life. When you love yourself, you stop tolerating behavior that doesn't align with your values. You learn to let go of toxic relationships and situations that drain your energy because you understand that you deserve peace, respect, and love. And when you make that choice, you create space for the right people to enter your life. People who value and appreciate you for who you truly are. You don't need to chase after love, approval, or success, because when you love yourself, you attract all those things naturally. People can sense when you're comfortable with who you are, when you're at peace with yourself. This inner peace radiates outward, and people are drawn to it. When you are in tune with yourself, your energy becomes magnetic, and others want to be part of that positive, confident, and loving aura. Self-love doesn't require you to seek out attention or approval from others. When you love yourself, the world takes notice. This kind of love also builds resilience. Life can be tough. People will let you down. Situations will challenge you, and things won't always go the way you plan. But when you love yourself, you have an inner strength that helps you weather those storms. You know that no matter what happens, you will be okay because you've learned to rely on yourself. You've built a foundation that's solid, not based on others' approval, but on the understanding that you are worthy, no matter the circumstances. Self-love gives you the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward with confidence. It's also about knowing that you don't need to be perfect. Loving yourself means accepting your imperfections, understanding that they are part of what makes you unique. It's about being kind to yourself when you make mistakes, instead of beating yourself up or feeling like you're not good enough. Perfection is a myth. What matters is progress, growth, and the willingness to continue showing up for yourself even on the tough days. You're not supposed to have it all figured out, and self-love means giving yourself permission to be a work in progress. The more you practice self-love, the more you realize that you are not here to settle. You deserve happiness, peace, respect, and all the good things life has to offer. You stop allowing people to treat you poorly because you know that's not how you should be treated. And when you stop settling, you start attracting the right people into your life, those who see your value and who are ready to invest in a meaningful connection with you. Investing in yourself also means doing things that make you happy, finding joy in the little things, and prioritizing your mental and emotional well-being, whether it's through hobbies, self-care routines, or taking time to recharge. These moments of self-nourishment aren't selfish. They are necessary for your growth. When you feel good about yourself, it's easier to be generous, loving, and supportive to others. But if you're running on empty, there's nothing left to give. Self-love is a transformative practice. It changes the way you approach life, relationships, and even challenges. When you love yourself, you stop doubting your worth and stop looking for validation in places it can't be found. You become your own biggest cheerleader, and that's when you begin to see everything around you shift. Opportunities show up, people treat you with the respect you deserve, and you finally realize that the love you were seeking from others was always within you. So remember this: the more you love yourself, the more others will learn to love and respect you. But it starts with you. It starts with acknowledging your own worth, setting the boundaries that protect your peace, and choosing happiness every day. Because when you love yourself, everything else falls into place. Emotional control is one of the most powerful tools you can have in any situation. When you learn to manage your emotions, you take away the power that others' actions have over you. So often we react impulsively, especially when someone plays games with us or doesn't treat us the way we deserve. But when you can maintain your emotional composure, you take the power back into your hands. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's about choosing how you respond no matter what's happening around you. Think about the times when emotions have gotten the best of you. Maybe someone said something hurtful or a situation didn't go your way, and instead of staying calm, you reacted out of frustration or anger. The problem is, reacting like that only gives the other person control over your emotional state. By staying calm, however, you maintain your peace and keep yourself grounded. You show that no one can knock you off balance, and that level-headedness becomes a quality that others respect and admire. Emotional control also means understanding your triggers and learning how to respond to them with grace. It's about being aware of how you feel and choosing to act in a way that aligns with your values, even when things are tough. When you remain composed, you're able to think clearly and make decisions that serve your best interests rather than being swept up in the heat of the moment. So when someone plays games with you or tests your boundaries, don't let it rattle you. Stay grounded, take a step back, and remember that your emotions don't need to control you. In the end, maintaining your emotional control isn't just about protecting your peace, it's about sending a clear message that you won't tolerate being manipulated or mistreated. And that message, when delivered calmly, is one that resonates far louder than any emotional reaction ever could. When you focus on your own life, your own goals, and your own growth, You create an energy that attracts the right people. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, not for anyone else, but for you. When you stop seeking approval and start living authentically, you draw in those who appreciate you for who you truly are. People can sense when you're living with purpose and passion, and that energy speaks louder than any game someone tries to play. By focusing on your own path, you show that you don't need anyone's validation to feel complete, and that's what makes people want to be around you.